Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a pick a card reading for the collective. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, you can find that information in my Buy Me a Coffee link, my official Instagram and TikTok, all listed in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. Collective, I hope that you're doing well. As you could see on the front cover of this reading, there were 3 cards to choose from. These are all messages from your spirit guides. So I'm using the Divine Animals Oracles deck for the overall energy and the Radiant Wilds Tarot for each of the tarot readings. So pile number 1, you had Hyena and Fear. Pile number 2, Beaver and Work. Pile number 3, Polar Bear and Ancestors. Actually, I'm thinking they're more like this, right? Pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. So please choose whichever image resonates for you. Don't overthink it. It's just the one that speaks to you. And I will have the timestamps in the description box below. See you there. Hi, pile 1, you chose the Hyena card, Fear. So right off the bat, we can see this beautiful kind of separation between this abundant state and then this place of desolation. There could be a dichotomy like that going on in your life right now, where you might be experiencing a certain level of abundance, and yet there could also be something about, there's like a time limit. And the reason why I say that is because I just want to show you this, the charm that also came with this reading is kind of like Cinderella's pumpkin. If you don't know the story of Cinderella, you know, she was kind of made to be a pauper, and she had a fairy godmother that turned her into a princess, but only for a short time. When the clock struck midnight, she turned back into a pauper again, a peasant. So when I see this kind of carriage, this pumpkin carriage, I think of Cinderella, and I think of, you know, this feeling or this fear in you that something is limited, a limited time only. I'm not sure what it could be right now. I don't know if it's talking about a job or a relationship. I'm not saying it is limited time. I'm saying that is what is your fear, that it's limited. You know, it's almost like things seem too good to be true. What if it turns into this? So it's a little bit of what's the word? Spirit, what is the word that I'm looking for? It's right on the tip of my tongue. It's that phenomena where you why can't I think of the word, Spirit? It's when we thank you, catastrophize. Catastrophizing things. And for some reason, I don't feel like that is in your character or your demeanor. 38 references the number 11, the Justice card of the Major Arcana, also kind of talking about a type of balance. I don't know if this is regarding a court case or a settlement or a contract. I'll take it as it resonates. But for some reason, pile number 1 does not strike me You do not strike me as a person that easily catastrophizes. And perhaps the reason why you're doing it is because this has to do with something that you've wanted more than anything. This great longing or this great desire of yours. You've waited so long to get it, and now that it's here, there's this fear that you're going to lose it. I'm going to get 3 cards, see what Spirit has to say about this. 3 cards out. Okay. Yeah, lots of 3 cards out, and I can already see there's just a lot of you in your head. King of Swords in the reverse. See how this is Gemini energy. King of Swords is typically in the upright someone who is an authority figure, a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, a leader of some kind, someone who is concerned with the truth and with justice and with understanding things objectively, rationally, with facts and figures and with strategy. Somebody who is very, very cold and discerning. But there's almost like a blindedness here to this particular rendition of the King of Swords. And what takes its place are these creatures, right? These kind of big cats on the prowl. This sense that okay, the Spirit is playing a very, very specific song. It's by the band The Eagles, and the song is called There's a New Kid in Town. So the song, if I can remember, I really like the Eagles. I've been seeing the Eagles a lot lately. Anyway, the song is about this, I think this man who's like falling in love with this woman or is in love with this woman. And then one day, this new kid in town comes up and everybody's, literally one of the lines is, everybody's talking about the new kid in town. And kind of how enticing he is or something like that. So there's this sense here that in the place of, and this is the King of Swords in the upright, but this is how I'm interpreting the card. You did get it in reverse. But there's this sense of like, what happened to the brain, right? Now it's just pure raw energy. There's a new kid in town and it's overtaking our thought processes. This raw energy, right? In some sense. Look, you see these here? 2 different decks, here and here. Maybe there is something that you were able to bring out in you that was a little bit more impulsive, that was a little bit more raw, more powerful. Maybe it's your tendency to be a King of Swords and just kind of be very measured about things. But for once you decided to go for it, you decided to make a bold leap, right? As we're going to see in the next card. And then somehow things got turned on their head. And something that's like maybe you got carried away with yourself, because now I see Cinderella. I really hope all of you know the story of Cinderella, but I see Cinderella running away from the ball, right? When she runs away from the ball, one of her glass slippers, she wears glass slippers, falls off. She doesn't have time to turn around and grab it. She just runs back to the carriage before midnight, before the stroke of midnight, when everything returns back to normal. And this part that she's been trying to play collapses. And she goes back to being ordinary again. Maybe that's the fear. It took you, I think, is this an eagle? It took you a lot to get to this place of abundance. You worked really hard for it. You feel like something is threatening that. And you don't feel like an expert anymore. You feel like lost as to how to approach it. Because here you have the Fool energy. Spirit is wanting to remind you that you should be tremendously proud that you took a leap of faith. This is not easy. This requires you to have full confidence in yourself. It's almost, thank you, Spirit. It's almost like you have imposter syndrome. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. It took a minute, Spirit, but we got there, right? Because what was Cinderella all about? Cinderella felt like she was being an imposter when her fairy godmother dressed her all up and made her pretend to be a princess. But she was a princess the whole time. That was the whole thing. She was made into a pauper by her evil stepmother. She was made to be something that she was not inherently. Inherently, she was a princess. But it was all about imposter syndrome. And Spirit is reminding you, no, you are not an imposter. You took the leap of faith, as you should have. Let me get a clarifier for this leap of faith. 2 cards. The Chariot in reverse, Judgment in reverse. Wow. Wow. 2 major arcana in reverse. Chariot card is about victory. It's about victory. Judgment card is about making a judgment call, right? It's this sense of fast movement forward, being in balance, knowing the path ahead, being really sure of it with the Judgment card. We're making a move. You got these cards in reverse. Are we regretting our life choices? Spirit just said that in my head. Are we regretting our life choices? This is very perplexing. I'm sure you're perplexed by it too. It's almost like you got everything you got everything that you could have asked for. You see how this card is like walking, it's almost like walking in this direction. Are you trying to walk away from, oh my god, that scared me. One of my candles just blew out. It was on its last leg, but the way that it went out, and there's just like this plume of smoke just kind of like burst from it in a way. It scared me. So, sorry, I just want to light another one. I don't know why that scared me so much. It is a plume of smoke. Maybe I'm picking up on your energy, pile 1. That was bizarre. That was bizarre even for me. Like, to be scared by a plume of smoke. I just wasn't expecting it. Honestly, pile 1, I'm sending you a lot of love and a lot of good energy, because this feels like imposter syndrome and self-sabotage. Please try not to do that to yourself. Don't think that you don't deserve something really good and beautiful. It was almost like if we look at this card in the upright, it was almost like this was your brainchild. This was your brainchild. You thought it up in your head, and then you brought it into your reality. But if you're not careful, you bring this into your reality too, just with your thoughts. This feels like regret of a life decision that you made. that you took the leap of faith on. But Spirit is saying, don't regret that. Don't regret, like, you feel what you want to feel, right? Even Spirit can't tell you to feel something. Spirit is asking you, to recognize where you should be proud of yourself, because it's not easy. It's not easy. But I do feel as though you are wishing that, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe when you took this leap of faith, you had to leave some people behind, a situation behind, and there's some sadness there. But it's almost like if you turn around, maybe it's like you were walking this way and then you turned around to look at it one last time. Spirit's giving me a very specific scenario of walking away from a toxic situation, but it being a trauma bond. So it's like this sense that this is the only kind of love we've ever known. So when we experience love and acceptance like this, it scares us and we want to turn around and go back to the toxic because it's all we've ever known. We don't know what this is. We don't know how to navigate here. That's just for some. Six of Swords in the reverse. Stuck. Six of Swords in reverse accurately describes this picture. Just being caught between chaos and calm. Some advice, please, Spirit. Some advice. How can we overcome this fear for pile 1? Nine of Wands. You might have gone through trauma or hardship, but you're a survivor. And now I hear Beyonce, I'm a survivor. Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior who lives to fight another day. This is your advice from Spirit. It's almost like Spirit saying, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Bob Marley, right? Get up, stand up for your rights. You are resilient. You have overcome a lot of odds. Reinforce this with yourself. You deserve this. You deserve this abundance. You deserve this joy. You deserve this happiness. Don't turn around. They're playing that Ace of Base song. Don't turn around. Don't turn around because you're going to see my heart breaking. I don't want you making me cry. Just walk away. It's tearing me apart that you're leaving. I'm letting you know, but I won't let you go. That could be somebody saying that to you. Be careful with that, pile 1. Don't let somebody toxic from your past suck you back in. That's your reading, pile 1. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. I'll see you soon. Hi, pile 2. You chose the Beaver card, and above it, it says work. It's 27, which corresponds to the number 9 in the major arcana, the Hermit. The Hermit card. So accompanying this Beaver card, you got this little charm, which is a little bird. It's like a dove almost. I found this on the ground. I found some crazy things on the ground. Like charms wise, like I found this on the ground and I don't know why I feel like I need to share it with you. This is part of like a necklace and I found it on the ground once and I thought it was so appropriate. And I found this bird. It's a little worse for wear. It's probably been run over a couple of times. And that could be how you're feeling right now. Just exhausted, right? The beaver is eager beaver. That's the expression that they use with this animal. Beavers build dams to try and create different ecosystems. I just see this tenacity with you that you're trying to, with this bird here, it's like trying to elevate yourself. Could be having to do with the work scenario. You could be just nose to the grindstone, working yourself into the ground almost. I mean, I see it benefiting you in some way, because here the animal is larger than life. So you could be making a name for yourself at work, and yet it's kind of a double-edged sword, because with the number 9 represented through the 27 here, with the Hermit card, it's kind of like now we want to just rest and hide away and retreat unto ourselves. It's almost like Spirit's giving me this example of like when I started my channel. I just was, my channel's still fairly new, and there's been a lot of growing pains, and I have a full-time job, and trying to balance my full-time job, which sometimes requires me to work on weekends, and filming and releasing something every single day is really exhausting. And while it is something that I'm very proud of, it's been a slog. It's been a it's been a learning process, and that could be what you're experiencing right now. So you could be experiencing a lot of dividends, or like positive feedback, positive results, because of all the work that you're putting into a project, your job, a situation. But then it becomes a responsibility, right? Can I go a month without posting videos? Sure. But then I run the risk of never going back to it, or losing a lot of viewers, not, whatever, what have you. So I feel like that's the double-edged sword. Like, I worked hard to get to where I am, but now where I am is a huge responsibility. And I'm determined. I want to take flight. I want to rise above. At the same time, sometimes I feel like overwhelmed, a little out of place, a little in over my head. Trying to create a ecosystem for myself that makes sense for me, makes sense for others. I'm going to get 3 cards just to get a general reading for pile 2, please, Spirit. Okay. 1 extra card came out. The 6 of Wands. Victory. You see? See how it's like all these like little people down here and down here? You're bigger, you're larger than life, and the sun is literally emanating from you. See this kind of bright, fiery sun energy? Feels like a synchronicity. This larger than life experience or depiction. It's almost like you can't help it, pile 2. You're experiencing some kind of accolades, awards, public recognition, fame. 6 of Wands is all about that. Promotion. People are, Spirit just said, intoxicated by your energy. They're drawn in by your energy. See how they're all gathered around. What does pile 2 have to say? What is pile 2 doing? How does pile 2 do it? How do they pull it off? I mean, it could just be your family, right? You could be a working parent. These are your kids just looking to you for all the answers, looking to you to make things work. You're their personal hero. How do they do it? Mom's got it. Dad's got it. I don't need to worry. They're there. They're handling everything. Let's look at the first card that came out. That was your extra card, so I took that as your overall energy. 3 of Wands in reverse. 3 of Wands is usually a card of, in the upright, it's a card of like waiting for our ships to come in. Waiting patiently for our ships to come in. It's almost as if here you're not waiting any longer. You're experiencing a certain level of clarity and abundance about something that you've wanted. Your manifestations have actually come to fruition. I feel like they're here in the now, in the present moment of whenever you're watching this. And yet, even with the card upside down, it feels like topsy-turvy. Things feel a little chaotic. Number 5, the Hierophant. This is a major arcana representing Taurus energy. So if you're a Taurus, you showed up in your own reading. The Hierophant card represents the Pope of the Tarot. Somebody who acts as a link between this world and the spirit world. Through guidance, through text, through teachings. Hierophant can also be a teacher, can be a life lesson. See, it's like, I said this felt kind of topsy-turvy. And then here comes this card that the sign of this card, Taurus, represents earth and groundedness. But the image here is anything but. It's vibration, it's levitation, isolation, all these words. Powerful, but kind of overwhelming. It feels very contrary to the work card. It feels like this is way over here. Feels like there's a separation. It's almost like, oh, thank you, Spirit. You're working diligently. You're investing a lot of your energy. But perhaps at this time, you're asking or you're looking for guidance with Spirit. Am I on the right path? I am working very hard. The fruits of my labor are coming to pass. Is there a sense of emptiness, pile 2, that you're feeling? Like you don't, not emptiness. It's not that you don't feel gratefulness. Let me be careful in how I say it. It's like, but is this my life's path? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? You know, I have a mentor at work, and I had a conversation with him the other day, and you know, he asked me if I was happy, and I said, you know, he asked me, are you happy with what you're doing? And I said, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm happy to lead a team, very happy to do that. But the actual what I'm doing, honestly, is it fulfilling? No, my actual job is not what fulfills me. What fulfills me is the human interaction that I have with everybody at my job. That's fulfilling. That's gratifying. What is fulfilling me most in my life is sitting here with all of you right now. This is my life's purpose. My work is a means to support myself. And boy, am I so grateful for it, because it's a beautiful situation. But I always ask myself, and I always ask Spirit, am I still supposed to be here? Am I still supposed to be doing this? And then Spirit always gives me a reason. So you could be doing that same thing right now. The Spirit gave that to me. That's pretty, you know, I don't know if people from my job are going to be watching this. I don't make a secret of that. I'm a very honest person. So I'm just like, it is what it is. Right? Not everything we do in life is going to fuel our passions. If that was true, that's a lucky person right there. But we live inside of an economy. We live inside an ecosystem, and we have to operate to a certain extent within that ecosystem. We have to play by the rules. Some of those rules involve bills, right? So there could be this part of you that's like really just asking those higher questions. You know, and then we have Six of Cups here. Right? So we can see this echoing of this pyramid energy. Six of Cups is a card of nostalgia, looking back to the past. I think you might be looking back just in terms of, not because you regret, but more in terms of the decisions you've made in your life, like the paths, the avenues you could have taken. Oh, how different my life would be if I hadn't gone to that school, or I hadn't lived in that town, or I hadn't met that person. There's a sense of that here. How different my life would be. You could be in this mood of nostalgia at this time. What is it that you're seeing in this nostalgia? One card, please, Spirit. Just one. One card, please. Nope. And Spirit's giving me like clumps of cards. All right. Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is epiphany, breakthrough, truth, revelation. There's something from your past that is really being highlighted for you right now. It's causing you a lot of clarity. I think they're happy memories, because they often talk about this Six of Cups as looking back to the past with rose-tinted glasses. And if we look very carefully at this card, and even the echo here, this kind of shadow echo, it kind of seems like we could have those 3D glasses on. It's a little jarring. And these are roses up here, at least I think they are. There are different flowers, but some of them are roses. So you are looking back to the past with fondness, and you like what you see there. Maybe you're wishing to return. You wishing you could go back to it. I think that's a wish that we all often have. But there's a reader on YouTube that I love to watch, and she says, we can look back to the past, but we shouldn't stare. And I think that's some of the best advice a reader has given. You know, I think that I'm sure that's not like a unique thought to her, but it's an expression that really resonates. Because we're living in the now. We're living in the present moment where all possibilities exist. All possibilities exist in this moment. I could decide to stop this recording, and go for a walk and go to a coffee shop, meet the love of my life. If only it were that easy, but it could be. I don't intend on doing that quite today. It's too cold out. But what I'm saying is all possibilities exist in the here and now. And if we continue to look back at the past too much, revel in it too much, it can cause our longing to be even more extended than what it needs to be. So Spirit is kind of giving, they're giving you that kind advice. You can look back to the past, but don't stare. The last card out is the Five of Swords in the reverse. Five of Swords, air sign energy. The cerebral energy. Talks about winning at all costs. In this card, it's very calm. Everybody looking forward. Again, that red haze over everything. Can feel like a little bit of a card of debauchery. A little bit of up to no good. Fives can be a very challenging number in the tarot. But you've got it in reverse. It's like you're not here to compete with others. I don't think it's ever really been about that. Maybe it's been about that a little bit. But this is more talking about this striving for excellence within yourself. Could be a little bit, Spirit just gave it to me, could be a little bit of trying to prove people wrong. So it's not that you're competing with a set of people, but there could be a group of people that didn't believe in you. And it's a little bit of like, I'll show you. You're gonna see like what I'm made of. But I don't necessarily think it's about competition. It's just about proving yourself to yourself. Let's get a final card of advice for pile 2. Five of Pentacles. Another 5. Oh, excuse me. There's another card that came out here. 8 of Wands. Flipped out in the upright. 5 of Pentacles. 8 of Wands is a card of fast action and fast communication. The 5 of Pentacles is about this sense of isolation, alienation, and being left out in the cold. And Spirit just gave me a very clear message. This is Spirit's advice. You could bend over backwards for people. Look and see what I can do. Look and see what I'm made of. And whoever wants to isolate you out, keep you out of their sphere of influence, will do it. And it won't matter to them what it is that you've accomplished, because they've determined in their mind to keep you in that spot. Spirit wants to remind you of what you've built up for yourself, what you've earned, and the accolades that will come from other sources. But you have to be right in your mind about it, right? Like, it's the sense that maybe you're in school and you win the highest award in your field of study, and you bring it home to mom and dad, and they don't pay any attention to you or pay any attention to it. And just say, well, yeah, you should have gotten that. And then they're off talking about whatever they want to talk about. Whereas you've worked 4 years in school to try and earn this, and the 2 people that you feel like you need to impress the most don't give a damn. Spirit is reminding you, right? It's not about affirmation from other people. we need encouragement from other human beings, right? That we're social creatures, and it's important that we interact and we have positive feedback and encouragement from others. But if you're constantly looking at the source of where you were always rejected, and you try to get encouragement from that source, you will never get it. So instead, turn your attention to the people who are in awe of you, who raise you up, who encourage you. Could be your soul tribe, could be your siblings, could be your parents. I don't know who it is. Focus on those people, right? It's not about impressing them, but it's about being in their company where they raise you up and you raise them up in kind. This beautiful symmetry, this beautiful reciprocity. So that's your reading, pile 2. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. See you soon. Hi, pile 3. You chose the polar bear card, number 26, which reduces to an 8, which corresponds to the strength card of the major arcana. And the word above polar bear is ancestors. Ancestors. The charm that I chose that is associated with your pile is this beautiful windmill. See here, this windmill. So when I think of windmills, I think of places like Holland, right? So I don't know if you're from Holland, but it does also represent air sign energy. So you could be an air sign or have prominent air sign placements in your chart, but it's about the cerebral, right? What is it that we are thinking in a methodical way? Because when I see windmills, they're not moving at super speed. They're usually just going at a very, even pace. Talks about directionality as well. So it's interesting because, one of the candles that I have burning here just went out, so I just want to light another candle. I always burn two candles to honor my twin flame connection. So this character down here is very much in a kind of aggressive stance, an aggressive positioning. But the polar bear, which one might interpret as the threat, is behind him. So Spirit is saying, no, it's not the threat. The polar bear is the ancestor. I stand corrected. Sorry, Spirit. The polar bear is your ancestor. So it's this sense that you have these kind of larger than life energies surrounding you at this time, fortifying you with that strength card reference. Able to brave the elements. You've been tenacious. But I do still see the inference of something that is making you on guard. What is it that you need to defend yourself from or with? There's something that is like keeping you in this stance right now. Yeah, it's like you have to prove yourself. It's like you gotta puff your chest out. You gotta prove yourself. So I'm gonna get 3 cards. This is just a quick general reading for pile 3, please, Spirit. 3 cards. Interesting. 2 of these cards have very strange, Strength card. Take that as a synchronicity. Thank you, Spirit. I didn't realize. That's beautiful. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. I feel like your spirit guides are around. And obviously with the ancestors card and the fact that they corrected me and the whole thing, it's just like, yeah, they're definitely, they're here. The first card is number 14, Major Arcana, the Temperance card. The reason why I was saying it's like very kind of, there's a highlight on the physicality of the characters in the card. So that could have something to do with you, your lifestyle. Like you could be into martial arts or yoga or some kind of physical activity that causes you to have to kind of negotiate your body in certain ways, right? Use your body. Maybe you're a dancer, an athlete of some kind. The Temperance card is all about patience. It can be about this balance, right? This balance between it's kind of alchemization between pain and power, between base metals and gold. It's this process that happens over time. So there could be some family legacy that has been happening for generations upon generations, happening over time. And here you are at the culmination of it, at the apex of it, kind of guiding like the direction, you're feeling the directionality again, guiding the direction of your family, your energetic line, your family line. This could also have to do with starseed families, Spirit just said. Doesn't have to be your earthly realm family. It could be your starseed families as well. That you are the pioneer, that you are the one having to kind of carry the torch, carry the mantle. But it's something that has been, have been in the making over your entire life. So for light workers, I feel like this is definitely true. If you identify as an empath or a light worker, a shaman, a witch, somebody enlightened, if you identify with any of those things, you don't need to put a label on it. But like, if you identify as a person that has had a spiritual awakening, just as an example, then you've probably gone down the roads of looking at your past, either your past in this lifetime and or your past in past lifetimes. And there were mile markers along the way that would have indicated to you how your spiritual path was going to go down. So for example, I've thought about this a lot. Just the way that I used to be when I was a little kid, I was always very much in tune with other people's emotions, very much an empath from like birth, basically. Always trying to make sure other people were okay because I could feel when they weren't. And it was always unchecked for me, so like their feelings would affect me, and then they would affect my feelings, and then it would just be like waterworks everywhere. But then people started to come to me for advice, and when I tell you they came to me for advice, it was like in elementary school. Kids would come up to me and just say, honey, what do you think? And you know, it would like, I was very shy, so it would always catch me off guard, like, why do you care what I think? I had very little self-confidence back then. But what I'm saying is that I also had visual proclivities, and it explains what I do now, because all I do is interpret imagery, right? I went to art school, like all of these things. I can backtrack through experiences and phases of my life where everything culminates to this moment. And I think that that's what you're doing right now. You're backtracking, you're looking at all the legacies and all the things, all the narratives that you grew up with, right? All the stories that were told, how they influenced you to the person that you are right now. Transmuting, transforming, creating. It's happening right now in the present moment. Can I have a clarifier for the Temperance card? What are we transmuting? What are we transforming? Two of Wands in reverse. We're no longer sitting on the sidelines waiting for direction. Two of Wands is about directionality, right? Just like this. Just like I know it's a windmill, it's not like a weather vane or like whatever, but it's talking to me about directionality. This card talks about directionality and choosing between left and right. And when the card is in reverse, it's like we're not confused anymore. We have no misgivings about which direction. It's almost like you found your path. And you found your life's purpose, and Spirit is backing you up. Your ancestors are there, co-creating, co-conspiring with you. The next card you got out, Strength card. 8 and 8, a synchronicity there. Strength card, Leo energy of the Major Arcana, talks about having a mastery over the ego, over identity. And what is it that creates our identity? What sets us apart from others? In a good way, not in an overblown way, right? When we have an overactive ego, that's when we can become narcissistic or kind of self-centered, not aware, not empathetic or compassionate to others. But when our ego is healthy and in check, which is what this card suggests, right? It's almost like we're buoying up the sun for other people, for it to shine on others. It's shining on us and it can shine on others. And we can live in both of those spaces. It's a very beautiful card. It shows a mastery over the self. Spirit just said self-regulation. I just noticed you got 3 major arcanas for your base spread. Get to that in a second. Knight of Pentacles, 5 of Cups. So clearly we are on our path. Spirit is showing it to me. Knight of Pentacles is somebody, a person who takes action, who sees real world scenarios and opportunities, doors open, and steps through and sets out to walk that path, right? But these are both kind of walking a path. 5 of Cups. There's been some lament, some sense that you've had to leave things in the past, leave people in the past, leave people behind. And it could be a little sad for you right now. People are in your life for a season or a reason. Is that the expression? There's a situation where you had to leave somebody, you had to let somebody go. They were in your life to teach you. And I think you learned the lesson. Because it's not impeding, there's no impediment on this road that you're on. It's like smooth sailing. And the last card here is the Chariot in reverse. This is number 7 of the Major Arcana, Cancer energy. So Sagittarius, Leo, Cancer, you showed up in your own reading if you're here. See this? Here's another kind of path. Chariot card talks about fast movement, victory, a balance over the light and the dark, the yin and the yang, the divine masculine, divine feminine. You got this card in reverse. No, there is no impediment on your path, but I feel as though you don't feel like you're moving fast enough, or you should have. Okay, Spirit just gave it to me, like I should have been in a different place in my life by now. That's like the sentence you might have been saying to yourself. God, I wish I would have figured this out before. I would be in a different place in my life by now. And Spirit's saying you're exactly where you need to be. Spirit is showing me, because sometimes I feel that way too. Like, if I hadn't made this decision, if I blah, 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 I'd be in the blah, 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 right? Spirit is showing me this link that my sister sent to me once. Unprompted. This was an I don't think I was really even talking about this, or maybe I was. I couldn't remember. But my sister sent me this link of women, women who kind of found their success after the age of like 45. And it was like such a surprising list. Like they didn't hit their stride until after 45. Like people like Maya Angelou and Martha Stewart and lots of athletes and not athletes. Why did I say athletes? You could be an athlete. Why did I say athletes? I did talk about athletes though. Not athletes. Writers, artists, actors, people like that. That business people that hit their stride after the age of 45. So Spirit is just showing me that to kind of reaffirm for you that if you're feeling behind, don't. Try not to. You can feel what you want to feel, but try not to, because you're exactly where you need to be. What's advice from Spirit? The Empress in reverse. The Empress is my favorite card in the entire tarot. And it talks about somebody who just absolutely knows who they are. And it's the master attractor, divine feminine, power of all four queens. You got it in reverse. Spirit is asking you to recognize, number one, your divinity, your divine nature. Number two, that you have so many resources at your disposal that you could be sleeping on, right? Like they could be quiet in your life right now. And Spirit is saying, wake them up. Wake them up. Right? Like the people that you know, the knowledge that you have, the books that you could read that are sitting on your shelf that you haven't read yet, which feels kind of like a message for me. There's so much that you could use to help yourself attract what it is that you want. Spirit wants you to be in your Empress energy, but they're pointing out the fact that you're not, and it all has to do with self-confidence. So on those days when you're not feeling confident, when you're not feeling like you have the power, call upon your ancestors to give you guidance, to provide direction, to provide insight, and they will give it to you. So that's your reading, pile 3. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings.